Albert Granda here from Pizza Therapy. I'm talking with Thomas Garnick, professional chef, all around good guy, teaches at Wood-Fired University. I just want to ask you, how did you get started in the food business, Tom?
Yeah, no, I think my journey goes back a long ways. I grew up very multiculturally, so food always kind of left an impression on me, and kind of the ability that it has to bring people together, and that's something that always kind of resonated with me. And I actually got into into a mobile wood-fired oven. I was going to school studying economics and math and all kinds of other crazy psychology, and so I bought an oven in the summer just to keep myself from going crazy and to make a little bit extra money, and then that's really kind of where my passion really kind of kicked off and started from there. And it gave me the opportunity to really kind of see the intersection of these beautiful things and these themes of the food that it kind of ran through, and now I look at food in a much different manner. I grew up just kind of understanding that culture and that love and that smile that it brings to people, and I was fortunate that I've traveled the world and just seeing that food has always kind of been that connection point for no matter the culture, no matter who it is. And I think part of it is food is our direct representation of culture, and food is it tells a story of us, and we affect culture just as much as culture affects us, and therefore we affect our food the same way. And that's kind of as I've traveled the world, as I've been fortunate enough to give back to the community, as I've been fortunate enough to cook for thousands and thousands and thousands of people, the thing that really kind of brings the passion for me, especially with pizza, is pizza is kind of this universal story of us, of civilization, and that idea that we have the fire, which transforms food, and it transformed us fundamentally. I mean, it gave us warmth, it gave us security, it gave us, and just importantly, it changed our dynamic with how food is. And then it kind of brings into that fermentation cycle, and the same how it really kind of affects and really gives us. And then the cultivation of grains is another huge factor. It changed the course of humanity for a very long time, and in that intersection. And I think pizza is kind of the best case scenario of showing what culture is, because we look at what is a pizza, right? We look at this disc with orange sauce and white cheese, and we call it this Italian thing, but none of those ingredients are from Italy, right? Grains came from the Mesopotamia, cheese came from further east, the sauce, the tomatoes came from down Central and South America. So this was kind of that first intersection, and we see how intertwined we are as a civilization, even back into hundreds and thousands of years, and we started sharing these ideas. And that's the beautiful thing with pizza. It's kind of like the proverbial breaking of the bread, right? I mean, we bring everybody together around a table, and in real time you get to experience that love, and we see how it shifts and it adapts, and it picks up for everybody, because now it's an edible plate, right? Now we can take, and it's become kind of the nuevo cuisine, the hot cuisine, where you've got chefs coming in and putting in. We were watching the contest today, and there's lobster and caviar and all these other crazy ingredients where people are taking that again, an edible plate, and kind of putting it together. And that's kind of where my passion has evolved, and as we started to grow our business from the 1 to the 4 mobile units into a very large catering operation, into a couple of different restaurant concepts, and ultimately it brought us back into giving back to kind of the Fire Within community. And 8 years ago, I want to say, I started kind of teaching that seminar and bringing other entrepreneurs and bringing other passionate people into that idea of what is the fire, the food, the connection of people, and just importantly, how to teach them to tell a compelling story with their brand, based on the ingredients that they're using, based on their background, based on what they want that business to mean to them. And it's been a fun synergy, and it's been an amazing opportunity to touch, at this point, a couple thousand different individuals, and kind of walk through them on that creation, and watching that fire within, that spark that happens. And it's just been an amazing opportunity to really kind of see that full circle, taking from our past and the past of pizza, and then being able to propel it forward into a new way.
Yeah, I understand. We're going to talk about it in a second. We're going to get more into pizza in just a minute, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the things you've done with a wood-fired oven. I understand everybody makes pizza. Yeah, that's what I think of. But I understand that you can take it into a left turn And there's a lot of other stuff you can cook in that wood-fired oven.
I mean, the key word there is it's an oven, right? I mean, there's only one thing that you're going to cook from raw to complete at pizza temperatures, at that 900 degrees, at that 750 degree deck, and that's pizza. You know, but I can learn to control and manipulate that environment. And it's if you're a chef and you can think it, you can create it. You've got the world is your oyster. You know, so being able to, I think last time we did one of the advanced seminars, we did whole goat and we did barbacoa with it, and we've done pigs in there. I've done pretty much any protein you can imagine. One of my favorite is just kind of a beautiful wood-fired chicken. We get it nice little crisp on there, a little bit of smoke, and then just nice little compound butter as it comes out. You know, it's a beautiful way that you take that raw heat, because it's cooking in a wood-fired oven is a dynamic. It's a 360 degree cooking dynamic environment. You know, it's not, I don't apply heat from the bottom, I don't apply heat from the top. You know, it's 360. If you look at the construction of that beautiful dome Italian oven, it works because the air draws across and you have this natural convection. And it captures all this heat and it gives the heat and it radiates it back out. And then we have that raw live fire. So when you're cooking with an oven, with a wood-fired oven, it's like nothing else, right? And I try to put it into a can is there's kind of a masculine side of it and kind of a feminine side into it. And the beautiful thing about it is these ovens, they're so versatile. So what we teach people is like, cool, you can do your pizza the next morning. That oven's still going to be 450 degrees. Guess what bakes beautifully at 450 degrees? A bunch of bread.
Yeah.
Then you load that oven with a bunch of bread, and especially going into from a professional perspective, now we look at how can we maximize what we're getting out of there. And especially for people that are going out and doing farmers markets, it's one of the things they do. They get their bread, they get it in their bowls, they get it loaded, they get to the farmers market. And what's better than baking 40, 60 bowls of fresh bread right out of that wood-fired oven? So as people come up to their booth, as people come up to experience them, you've got this beautiful product that you can mix in with that pizza. And that's kind of, we look at it from a passion side and what can we do with this oven, right? And using that heat, because it kisses it like nothing else. That smoke, that just the intensity of the heat is going to give it a complex flavor and character in the way that the Maillard happens with a little bit of that acrid char. It's just kind of a fun place with that. So it's just being creative with it and understanding that in some instances it's the finishing oven, right? Because if I need to feed 200 people, I'm not going to cook raw chicken for 200 people, but I can use it to kiss it with the fire, is what we always call it. So that's the idea is, if I want to do a beautiful, intimate 8-person dinner, I can do a 7-course, absolutely stunning meal out of that oven. But I'm going to do it for 7 people, and then if I'm going to start scaling up, then I get into that aspect. Like I said, we call it just kissing it with the fire. How do we give it that finishing sear, that finishing char, that little bit of smoke that's going to kind of send it over the edge?
Okay, that sounds great. Let's get into some specifics. As an instructor at Fire University, and we'll talk about that. That is Wood-Fired University. Tell me a little bit about what is the program? What do you go through?
Yeah, so the idea is, how do we take someone and make them a pizzapreneur, right? And kind of when I go into this, I want to take people from the 3 years of hard lessons that I had to learn through, and their year 1 is my year 3. So it's kind of a crash course. Here's dough 101. Here's pizza 101, here's business 101, and we build a curriculum that gives them the confidence and the tools to be able to go out and successfully launch their own endeavor into the pizza. And whether that's bringing and starting a whole new venture altogether, whether that's adding a mobile unit onto a restaurant or existing catering operation. And so we gear the material to whether you have a ton of food experience in the industry or this is your first time touching dough. We try to keep it broad enough to where everybody's going to get some value. And it's a huge mix of industry experience, and not only myself, we have the Fire Within community. I'm always talking, I'm always connecting, I'm always understanding what are people doing, because I know what works for me, but just importantly, I want to know what works for other individuals as well. And my job is to give them as many tools as they can so they have more than just a hammer. So at the end of the weekend, they can pull through and they've got different ideas and different techniques and different things that they can try to be able to be successful on their own. Because the idea is we give them a platform, and it's not like going out and buying a franchise, right? I'm giving you the ideas, I'm giving you best practices, but this is your baby, right?
Yep.
Develop this into a business that's going to fit for you, and that's the fun thing, because we have people that come in and they do it as a side hustle and as a hobby, and they have another full-time job and they do this as a little something. There's people that go into it and they want to have 5 ovens and they want to build into a restaurant, and there's that gradient in between. There's people that do it kind of, they do it seasonally and they do it full-time, they do it it part-time all the time. So it just kind of really depends, and it's something that we help them understand the idea of how do you build this into your lifestyle, and we go over the numbers and we go over. But more importantly is it's a ton of hands-on. I mean, we talk dough theory, but then it's all right, let's get in the mixer, let's get our hands working on that dough, let's get into the classroom, and then we spend a day down or we spend a couple days in front of the ovens. It's them topping, stretching, pulling, cooking, and then we take a little segment in the normal university and we do a little crash course on catering, right? Because when I do a catering, I have to understand that there's a lot of logistics that go into that. So we talk about sourcing ingredients, we talk about food costing, we talk about, all right, now this is all fun, and how do we develop that recipe? How do we execute this menu? How do we pull it all together? And then the last day, they actually go out and do their first catering. We bring a bunch of people in, and we take the lessons that they have over the course of the weekend, and this is their opportunity to shine, and it's 100% them kind of getting in, and we're just there to guide them and give them some best practices.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Thomas. You've answered all my questions. How can people find out more about Wood-Fired University?
Yeah, so Wood-Fired University, you can always, on the interwebs, thefirewithin.com, the Instagram, Facebook, the same, and then you can connect with me on Zen of Za on Instagram, and you can always hit me up on my email.
Okay, and what is your email, Tom?
You can just do thomas@bravapizza.com.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Hey, thank you very much, my friend.
Hey, Albert, I appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.